Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me here. As always, thank you for your dedication and commitment to your practice, which has you here. However you arrived, whether this video was recommended to you and you're just popping in for the first time, or whether you're a longtime viewer and student of A Course in Miracles, welcome. This video, as with all videos, is for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're a course student or not, you've found your way here. So I invite you to stick around because there's a message for you today and every day from the Holy Spirit, from our inner teacher, part of our mind that will guide us if we let it. So that's the question, isn't it? As always, we complicate matters enormously in life. When you really allow yourself to think about it, all of the distractions and complications and insane activities that we put ourselves through in life are complete fabrications. We made all of this up. And it's no wonder that we appear to be spinning in more ways than one. This ball of rock appears to be spinning, and our lives also appear to be spinning as we're pulled in multiple different directions, often at the same time, and simply wondering whether there's something more to it than that. Oh, yeah. And you know there is, or you wouldn't be here. True of all spirituality. So, what we're looking at today is from chapter 19, section 4 of the text of A Course in Miracles, which is entitled The Obstacles to Peace. Peace is who we are, mic drop, yeah, and it flows naturally from us. It's who we are. It flows naturally when we allow it to flow naturally. We have, unfortunately, interposed, placed, and set up many obstacles that peace must flow across. We can remove the obstacles because we set them up, quite simply. Having set them up ourselves, we can make the decision to remove them so that peace may flow naturally. This is the very powerful point here of spirituality is that we made this, we can unmake it. You may not have been taught that growing up. I was not. I was not taught that at all growing up. So here we find ourselves studying or attracted to, or both, this course. The third obstacle that peace must flow across, first of all, it's the desire to get rid of it. We actually want to get rid of what we're seeking, which seems really contradictory. Well, it is. And here we appear to find ourselves suffering and spinning. That's the first obstacle. The second is the belief that the body is valuable for what it actually is. 80% water and guts. Is that valuable? Not in and of itself, right? Good news, you're not a body. So the third obstacle that we arrive at is a deep attraction to death. Mm, yeah, the attraction of death. Does that sound morbid? Well, maybe, but let's think about it. In previous discussions, we've looked at our deep attraction to guilt, which, when you think about it, is where we appear to find ourselves. Attracted to guilt, attracted to our bizarre cultural badges of honor of being a skilled, highly skilled and developed multitasker, doing 50 million things at once and always in a tizzy and stressed out because we want to be seen as stressed out so we can look like a productive member of our society wherever we appear to live. And some societies value that more than others. For the record, I find myself in this wild idea called the United States. I would know. Yeah. So we spin and spin and spin some more. And we're attracted to the idea of guilt. Same with the idea of death. We're attracted to it in exactly the same way that we're attracted to guilt. So it seems highly contradictory because we run around in the world and clearly nobody wants to have the next breath be their last, for sure. We don't want to just expire. We want to keep going, for sure. Of course we do. Yet at the same time, we're attracted to the end, what we perceive to be the end of communication mechanism, which of course has a limited shelf life. It's 80% water and bones and guts. Of itself, the component parts of this are not precious at all. It has a limited shelf life. As much as we might like to pretend that it does not, it does, of course, and we all know that. And we're afraid of the end of it. Yet that fear is actually an attraction to it. The same as with guilt. We don't want to have guilt, but we're drawn to it and attracted to it. People use that as a badge of honor. There are entire, very major and pronounced religions that have what they deem to be their own form of guilt, worn as a badge of honor, right? So here's the thing about death. There is no death. You are fully aware of this. And if you weren't fully aware of it, may you be fully aware of it. There is no death. You are not a physical body. You may wonder why, if you've seen some of these videos, I continually bring that up and refer to this as a pixelated image on your screen, which it is. The body is not you. Uh, A Course in Miracles stresses this over and over again. Therefore, this series of videos stresses that over and over again. It's not you. You know this is true. You don't have to accept it. This is very important because you can say, and you may find yourself saying, and people say it all the time, well, I don't believe that. Of course, I'm a body. The end of this is the end. Mm, okay, go forth, right? We can deny truth all we want. Truth is still true. There is no death because the physical body is not you. Yeah, we all appear to be inhabiting it, but it isn't you. While we appear to be here, what we're invited to do continually, over and over again, is accept the Holy Spirit's purpose instead of the ego's. Use this for the Holy Spirit's purposes of healing the mind. What will that look like? He'll tell you. And this is what it looks like for me: microphone, camera, worldwide audience, broadcast. That's my own personal directive. Yours may look completely different, naturally, because there are people out there that you can reach better than I can reach them. They're meant to work with you. So, however you share the love of the Holy Spirit with them, you're invited to do that. You'll notice that A Course in Miracles, as a self-study curriculum, does not give you a list of detailed outlines and parameters for exactly what to do in every situation. We're invited to connect with our inner teacher to receive that guidance moment to moment. In this sense, it's highly personal, because what you're directed to do is going to differ from what someone else is directed to do on the surface. And that's the point: on the surface. Yeah, there appears to be multiplicity on the surface, but at the core, at the essence, at the heart of the matter, there's perfect oneness. So the content of the message, the meaning of the message of love is all the same. It's only the outward form that appears to differ. And we spend so much attention and time dedicating ourselves to manipulating the outward form here in the world that we neglect what's within. Well, no longer. That's where the real learning takes place, in the mind. We're changing our mind. There is no death. Mind continues on. It does. It does. The end of the physical body is just the passing of a dream. Mind continues on. It was still doing its thing prior to the birth of this. It's continuous. And again, if you don't believe that, that's okay. The interesting thing about A Course in Miracles as a self-study curriculum is that at the start of the workbook, it says, you don't even have to believe in these ideas in order to put them into practice. In fact, you may actively doubt them and question the truth and veracity of pixelated image on your screen and the course itself. You may think it's trash, yet you can still practice. So we're invited, while we appear to be here, to give this over to the purposes of the Holy Spirit, which is in fact a dedication to life. When you give the body over to the purposes of the ego, separation, continued separation, division, fear, you're dedicating yourself to death. Mm. So here in chapter 19, section 4, and in the subsection, the attraction of death, Jesus likens the ego to a shadow. So, what is the shadow to the living? What's a shadow to us? We see a shadow on the ground. We're not afraid of it. We walk right past it. It's nothing. Ego, shadow, nothing. There is no ego because there's only perfect oneness. The ego is a complete illusion, a dream in and of itself, which can be set aside. Remember, we're setting aside these obstacles, and yes, I insist, you have the power to do that. You may not have allowed that message to sink in yet, but I hope that you do, and may it be today that you do. If it's not today, then tomorrow. The sooner, the better. We all have the power to awaken. Indeed, we're the ones that must set the ego aside. And now, if that seems like a monumental task, I get that. It does, because it just seems so thick. And the veil that we've thrown over our face, so to speak, which is a helpful visual image, by the way, seems so black and dark and impenetrable that you may find yourself wondering how and when you're ever going to do this. Well, just start with what you have right now, the present moment. When something bothers you in any way, any experience that you have that is not wholly and completely wondrously joyous is an opportunity for forgiveness. So we take these opportunities one at a time, which results in a peeling off of the veil, however thick and impenetrable it may be. Now, if you think, oh man, there's no way I'll ever do this, well, of course there's a way that you'll ever do it. May not happen today. And in fact, it may not happen during this current lifetime. That is entirely possible. However, there's nothing but yourself to stop you from doing this forgiveness work right now. You have tremendous guidance in this. If it seems like you're alone, you're not alone. You will notice that I continually refer to the Holy Spirit, call it whatever you want to call it, as our inner teacher, inner part of our mind. This part of your mind is accessible at all times, but for the asking. Ask. It's very, very important. Just the mere asking the Holy Spirit is setting the ego aside. It is a choice because you're choosing to follow a different leader. The ego is no leader at all, it doesn't even exist. And when we adhere to it, it's confused, very confused. So why would you follow such a guide? Really? One that doesn't know where it's going and spins around in circles and wants to attract you with one shiny object after another so you continue to spin right along with it. And this, meanwhile, goes bye-bye. And then you suffer. Or would you rather follow the voice for God? Would you rather follow a guide that knows the way and will point it out and will help you tremendously along the way? You are not alone, and you have tremendous and, well, mighty, powerful help. So I invite you to access this, to access your real power. All right. So along the way, of course, questions are bound to arise. And if you're new or newer to this course, it's really different, which is an understatement. It's by design. It's meant to be very different than anything you may have been exposed to in the past. So be it. You're here. If you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them for you. And this comment thread right here in YouTube is, in fact, the perfect place to ask. So I invite questions, any and all questions about A Course in Miracles, about spirituality in general. So if you've got them, please leave them here. And if you have not yet subscribed, I'd love to have you join us, please. That's the link here, that arrow that you see in the corner of your screen is the prompt. Click it and join us because several videos appear each week. And once again, I invite your subscription because spirituality always raises questions and it's constant and ongoing. That's why this video series has many different videos appearing each week. And because questions are inevitable. It's a great place to raise them, as we all need reminders from time to time. So I thank you very, very much for joining me here today, and I will talk to all of you very soon.